Hello, welcome back to Brand Sushi Live Nodding. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at how we can generate kind of unusual pattern in geometry. And I found this by accident actually when I was experimenting with Sverjock add-on. So let's just get started. So we have the Polygon Grid. This is my new favorite nodes, Polygon Grid, and if we use the viewer draw, we can see the result. So it generates this pattern that we take for granted, hexagonal or like a triangle or square. I'll be using square for now, but basically if you're using Subdivide and just plug in the vertices, edges, and face, let's see what we can do with this. Basically, I found this by accident again when I look at this edge mask and kind of wondering, okay, that's a edge mask, right? But usually it takes the number either 0 or 1 to represent whether you want to mask the edge or you want to reveal the edge. So that's really basic idea, but let's try a random number. So either 0 or 1. So use the stethoscope. So yeah, it does give us a number either 0 or 1, size of 10. So what happens if I plug this into the edge mask? You can see that it started to generate pattern. Let me quickly hide the grid. Oh, there is actually a quick way to do it using the 3D view props here. You can hide the grid this way. Okay, so you can see some kind of pattern. Let me increase the number. So it's kind of flickering on and off. But if we got all the number based on the number of edges, we kind of get a pattern. It's a very unusual pattern, as you can see here. And this is very cool because in Blender you can just save it out and use a wireframe and you get some kind of geometry. I don't know how you're gonna use it, but this is one idea. So as you might can already tell, also you can kind of increase the number of cut and you get something more out of it. So it's seems like more detail. And you can also use the fractal, so randomize it a little bit so it's a little bit more interesting. Randomize the seed, of course. What else you can do? You can also separate. Scale it down. Now let's see. Oh, this time it doesn't seems to be quite working. Okay, now it's working again. So here it's almost kind of like a modern art. There's like a repeat with a pattern. It doesn't generate like a all kind of pattern. However, it's really interesting. So that's one. Let's explore a little bit more. Instead of a random number, if I cut this, let's use noise. So again, this noise should be actually based on the edge, the center of the edge maybe, but you can experiment. I'll be just using vertices and plug the noise into scalar noise into the edge mask, and we can see nothing yet because the noise is just a value. See, like 0.6, 0.5. If we round it, however, if we round it or use like a logic, we can get a value between 0 and 1. So let's round it. This is also another way to get some kind of pattern. Let's increase this to 22. So we have 200 square now. You can actually control the noise pattern. So you can see it's the noise. So it's kind of okay, it's subdividing wherever it's actually the value is 1, I think, and 0 if 0 subdivide if it's a 0, then do not subdivide. So that's the idea. And randomize with Fractal, you can see something a little bit more interesting. Okay, so this is an idea. This is the basic idea. Maybe we can use it for something. Let's see what else we can do. So you can turn on and off the grid field. Single edge. It's kind of cool. Fractal and smooth. No. How about if we change this grid into hexagon? Okay. See, this one, even this one is kind of interesting. So you have this one with a lot of edge, and this one like simple hexagon. Kind of wondering what happened if you like triangulate it, or so triangulate. I haven't tried the LIVENODING. Just try triangulate it. Okay, so we get this. New pattern. Oh, triangle. Okay, this one also kind of interesting. Let's try increasing this to 400. Adjust the noise. So you end up with something like this. Maybe you can then do some kind of extrusion, whatever. But I found this to be really cool. So yeah, maybe you can try it yourself and see what you can come up with. But this is like I said, this is just an accidental pattern. But normally a proper pattern, you need some kind of algorithm and some kind of rules to define a pattern. That's something that I haven't really explored. So far it's always pretty much random. There is one pattern that I'm looking, actually it's called, maybe it's like tree map, and it's kind of like a way you kind of, if you have like a shape, it's kind of cut it into grid and dicing. In Randoman they call it dicing kind of algorithm, but let's see if we can do that with like a 3D objects. This pattern is just a 2D, but interesting to study. Anyhow, there you go. Hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.